Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained. And today I'm taking a look at Clive Barker's Next Testament Omnibus, written by Clive Barker and Mark Allen Miller, illustrated by Haemi Jang and Vladimir Popov on colors. I've been a long time Clive Barker fan. I started off very young reading his books of blood, then working my way up through like things like Weave World and Magica and many of his other books, and enjoying them immensely. He doesn't write as much as he used to. It's a shame. But this came out a few years ago, and I remember saying to myself, I'm going to wait until it's in one book. And this was, I don't know, like 6 years ago, 8 years ago. It's been a while since this book came out. And Boom, who put it out, they had it in 2 volumes for the longest, and I had contemplated getting them, the 2 separate volumes, but eventually this came out, so I picked it up. And it's worth the wait. It's a very good book. Not a big fan of the art. The artwork, it's not bad. It's what I would call serviceable. It serves a story. But what we have here is we have a gentleman who's working as an archaeologist, a very wealthy man, who finds this very strange pyramid, smashes it open, hears voices, and he discovers God, of all things. And this is a very Old Testament, wrathful, vengeful, vain, all-knowing, all-powerful God, and it's been just in seeing the way he's described, it's like we've been sold a bill of goods when it comes down to what God is and who he is. And this is not the version that we're sold at a Sunday class. What we have here is, like I said, this very vengeful God, and he's very wrathful. He comes back and he's very vain, and he's like, why isn't everybody worshiping me? And he's like, why is humanity? He was surprised that humanity learned how to fly, and we have planes, and he wants to get everyone's attention. So what does he do? He says, okay, so I'll take away your ability to fly, and he does this on a whim, in a moment's notice, and all the airplanes in the sky just fall out of the sky. And then he removes the internet and television and radio, and these are just things he can do on a whim. And he can read people's minds, he knows people's emotions, all powerful, knowing. And God woke up and he was an asshole. And that's basically what this is. And it's an interesting take. I wouldn't say original. I've seen other versions similar to this where, God is uncaring and all this other stuff. But the thing with Clive Barker is like there's always this totality in the evil, that whenever he portrays something, there's just this definitiveness to this evil that is just like it is not only just uncaring, it is vile, and it is done knowingly. Like, it knows exactly what it's doing, and it's very calculated, and it's thought upon, maybe in a moment's notice, but there's a very, very intelligent mind working behind this, and that's this character that's presented to us as God. Fortunately, they're 2 counterparts. So he still works on the idea of the Holy Trinity, and there are these other 2 figures who come about, who is this other character's brother. And the thing is this one entity isn't God. I think the way it's portrayed is that all 3 of them are, and all 3 of them created humanity, and all 3 of them, have the decisions, and the other 2 maintain and hold back. They're basically insane brother. from destroying everything, and they constantly are holding him back and containing him. Like I said, a lot of fun. The only thing I found a little weird is in reading Clive's work, there tends to be a lot of space for the stories to breathe. The final two characters who do come in, who are the counterpoint to the main antagonist, just don't have a lot of space to breathe. They're introduced probably in the last two issues, or maybe even the last issue. It's one big meaty book, so it's presented as one story, so there are no real breaks. So it's kind of hard to see if he was brought in at the end, or if he was brought in, at the last issue, or the issue before the last issue, or they were brought in. I'm accustomed to most of Clive's villains having a little bit or like the counterpoint to the villain, and the villain as well, to have more space to breathe. So I found that a little unusual. And the book comes in at probably, 240 pages, which is pretty meaty. It was like, I believe, a 12-issue limited series. Probably 20 pages per issue. If it was 24 pages, we're looking at 88 pages. Something like that. So, decent-sized book. But it's just, when you're accustomed to reading prose and reading something like a Magic or a Weave World or something along those lines, you're talking about a book, 700 pages. So, and it's all text. And, a lot more ground can be covered in that than, let's say, in a comic book. This would probably have to be double the size for it to really flesh out all the backstories and all that stuff. There's a front story with two main characters, and one of the characters' father is one of the is the person who discovered that pyramid and smashed it and released this entity. Like I said, fun book. If you like Clive Barker, if you like horror, if you like some kind of weird existential horror, you like H.P. Lovecraft, you might enjoy this. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the artwork is serviceable. It's not necessarily my favorite thing. And to be honest with you, the coloring, I don't really think works well in its favor. I think both artists probably, I think with a different colorist, this might have popped a little bit better, but that's not to say the coloring is bad. I think this style of coloring just doesn't work for this style of story and this particular artist. So yeah, that's just personal taste, but I think, and that's my parakeet, and he is bugging out for some reason. Yeah, it's Lamangelo, so that's the parakeet. But yeah, there's some sex and there's some fornicating. It's very adult. There's a lot of murder, a lot of violence, that sort of thing. But if you're into that sort of thing, if you're into, like I said, strange horror, which is what Clive Barker is known for, you might want to pick it up. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good book. I thought it was a very good read. It's a pity Clive doesn't do more. I would love to have seen more. I know Joe Hill, another famous horror writer, is working with DC now. He did a Lock and Key over at IDW. Fantastic book. I want to see more from these guys. These guys are like some of the best writers around. And you just want to see more of them, man. And I'm not even just talking about comic books. They're just some of the best writers, period. So, yeah, whenever we can see more, especially in comics, of that level of writing, it's always good to see that sort of thing. So, thank you so much, guys. If you like what you heard, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and if you want to check out my own work, go check out theoswaldchronicles.com or Tall Tales Online, and I will be talking to you soon.